Hi everybody, how are you students? I hope you are all fine. Today, let's learn 8th class Unit 2 A reading. Oliver asks for more. Look at this picture. Who are there? Yes, there is a family. Father, mother and two children. Children, where does a family live? Yes, family lives in a home. Do you live with your family members? I hope you all live with your family members. Now, look at this boy. How is he? Yes, he is very sad. Why? Because he doesn't have any family members to look after him. We call such people as orphans. Orphan means who doesn't have parents or any family members to look after them. Then, where do these orphans live? These orphans live in an orphanage. Dear students, look at this picture. What is there? Hmm, there is a breakfast. Children, did you have your breakfast today? What did you eat in the breakfast? You might have eaten chapati with curry. Suppose if your mother gave you only one chapati, does it satisfy your hunger? No. Then what will you do? You will ask for one more chapati, isn't it? Here is one more tasty breakfast. Idli sambar chutney. If you get only one idli, does it satisfy your hunger? No. Then what will you do? You will ask for more idlis. Do you? So, my dear students, if you are hungry and if you get very less food to eat, you will ask for more food. Today, let's learn a story about an orphan boy named Oliver who asks for more.
A. Reading Oliver asks for more. This is an extract from the novel Oliver Twist, written by the British novelist Charles Dickens 1812 to 70. It is the story of an orphan boy named Oliver, who is brought to a children's home. Mr. Bumble walked on with long strides. Little Oliver, firmly grasping his gold-laced cuff, trotted beside him. Oliver had not been within the walls of the workhouse a quarter of an hour, when Mr. Bumble informed him that the board had said he was to appear before it forthwith. Not having a very clearly defined notion of what a live board was, Oliver was rather astonished by this information, and was not quite certain whether he ought to laugh or cry. He had no time to think about the matter. Mr. Bumble asked Oliver to follow him into a large whitewashed room where 8 or 10 fat gentlemen were sitting round a table. At the top of the table, seated in an armchair rather higher than the rest, was a particularly fat gentleman with a very round, red face. "Bow to the board," said Bumble. Oliver brushed away 2 or 3 tears that were lingering in his eyes, and seeing no board but the table, bowed. "To that, what's your name, boy?" said the gentleman in the high chair. Oliver was frightened at the sight of so many gentlemen, which made him tremble. The beadle gave him a tap on his back with his cane, which made him cry. "Boy," said the gentleman in the high chair, "listen to me. You know you are an orphan, I suppose." "What's that, sir?" inquired poor Oliver. "The boy is a fool. I thought he was," said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. "Hush," said the gentleman who had spoken first. "You know you've got no father or mother, and that you were brought up by the parish, weren't you?" "Yes, sir," replied Oliver, weeping bitterly. "What are you crying for?" inquired the gentleman in the white waistcoat. "I hope you say your prayers every night," said another gentleman in a gruff voice, "and pray for the people who feed you and take care of you, like a Christian." "Yes, sir," stammered the boy. "Well, you have come here to be educated and taught a useful trade," said the red-faced gentleman in the high chair. "So, you will begin to pick oakum tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, added the surly one in the white waistcoat. Oliver bowed low, directed by the beadle, and was then hurried away to a large ward, where, on a rough, hard bed, he sobbed himself to sleep. Poor Oliver! As he lay sleeping, unconscious of everything around him, the board had taken a decision that would change the course of his life. The members of this board were very wise and philosophical men. As they turned their attention to the workhouse, they discovered that it was the regular place of public entertainment for the poorer classes. It was the place where they had breakfast, dinner, tea, and supper all the year round and free, where it was all play and no work. This was really a shocking state of affairs. They were of the opinion that the poor should be given only two alternatives, either to starve quickly outside the workhouse, or gradually inside the house. With this view, they decided that the inmates of the workhouse would be issued 3 meals of thin gruel a day, with an onion twice a week. For the first 6 months after Oliver Twist was moved in, the system was in full operation. As a result, during this period, the number of workhouse inmates got smaller, and the inmates themselves shrank in size and became thinner. The room in which the boys were fed was a large stone hall, with a big copper bowl at one end, out of which the master, dressed in an apron for the purpose, and assisted by one or two women, ladled the gruel at mealtime. Of this festive composition each boy had one basinful, and no more, except on occasions of great public rejoicing, when he had 2 ounces and a quarter of bread besides.
Dear children, I hope you all have learnt how to read the lesson.